Today's lesson, today's meeting is called The Impacts of Forgetting to Care. And it's based on an essay that I wrote for Star Trek Quarterly called Star Trek Teaches Us That We Must Not Forget to Care. And we were going to watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine's Past Tense Part 2, but seeing as I am a meeting of one, we are going to do something a little bit different today, and for that I shall need my reading glasses. Do you like them? They bring out the gold. Anyway, we are going to read that essay. In a utopian universe like the one crafted by Star Trek, there are still flawed things and flawed people. And where there are flawed people, gossip and bullying is not far behind, simply because in a society where most things are curable or at least treatable, divergent individuals still exist and very much stand out. Everyone's natural instinct should be to love and help each other be their best selves because we are all the same, and that we are human with a need for love, friendship, and a place where we can belong. But the easier instinct is to fear what is not easily understood and even persecute its existence. More often than not, unique individuals are left to struggle alone with very little or no support available to them because typicals forget to care about the individuals who are hard to understand or accept. Divergent individuals are sadly feared instead of appreciated for their unique natures and the blessings they can bring to this world. Aleem Garrick was one of those underappreciated individuals. Garrick was different, but that doesn't mean he wasn't worth love. You understand? Garrick was worth love, but did he get it? No, he didn't. People found it hard to love what they couldn't understand. Garrick was loyal to Cardassia, a place he considered home, even though it was a place where he was seen as not good enough. Life was hard on Garrick, but he made the most of what he had and used his intellect and skill to survive. Yet he was considered a divergent individual by his people simply because he couldn't succeed at what he was expected to succeed at. His inability to live up to expectation led to his eventual exiling from Cardassia and his move to Deep Space Nine. And to be fair, we never really knew what Garrick was exiled for because that man never knew how to tell the truth. The station's residents were unsure what to make of him, and he wasn't sure what they expected of him either. But they did strive to coexist with each other. Garrick was perfectly aware that the station's residents thought him a spy, planted on the station to serve as the eyes for his people, and found comfort in playing the rumors up, and thrived in doing so instead of focusing on how the rumors made him feel. Perhaps Garrick's awkwardness is why he gravitated towards Julian Bashir so easily. Julian was very well aware of rumors surrounding his struggles, and he continually struggled to find acceptance. Julian's pain was real, and he covered his vulnerability with sheer arrogance to the point where he pushed many away. But Garrick wasn't fooled by it. Julian and Garrick stood apart from others in their individual worlds, yet they found solace in one another. Their unique friendship was not easily accepted nor understood by others, but it helped them to both become better individuals and better at walking their paths in life. And we have to pause here because somebody came into the waiting room. Hello? 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 Jake, are you there?
Can you hear me?
A little bit. Can you get a little louder?
How's that?
That's good. Hi, Jake.
Hello.
Did you want to show yourself? I'm sure you look very nice.
I'm sorry. Webcam.
Huh?
I don't have a webcam.
Oh,
Sorry.
well, how are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I was worried nobody was going to come.
I know. Well, I saw this. I think it was Star Trek Family a few days ago, and then I was like, "Oh, that sounds neat. I'll see if anybody comes."
Yeah, nobody's shown up so far besides you and me. Yeah, I was just passing time reading from the personal essay that I wrote. Yeah, I was reading it aloud, so.
Okay. I don't think I read that. Is that in the?
It's in Star Trek Quarterly. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, I'm glad you came.
Well, thank you. Sorry, nobody. Sorry, it's so quiet.
It's not your fault. I'm a neurodivergent person, and people don't know what to make of me. I'm kind of like Garrick and Julie, and that's kind of why I wrote this, because
I didn't quite catch that last.
um, people don't know what to make of people like me. So they would rather not.
Mm.
It's a sad thing. Indifference is one of the worst diseases in the world, and people don't really acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm. Well, It's that IDIC thing, right?
It's like literally worse a worse pandemic than COVID-19, and yet nobody's doing anything about it. Like, it's like why I think that the whole thing of past tense and like, Far Beyond the Stars, those are important episodes because they talk
Mm-hmm.
about indifference and the consequences.
Mm-hmm. Um, I know I know I watched, was it Past Tense? I think when I was a teenager, and then I think I watched it again. Was it last year or the year before? So, sorry, uh, I don't know what to say sometimes.
That's all right. Hi, April.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Do you feel like turning your camera on so we can see your pretty face?
I will. I'm just in the middle of making.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, this is my first meeting.
Thank you for
I'll be-
coming.
I'll be also making some mac and cheese for my
You're
ensigns.
so pretty.
Thank you too. Everything else is here.
That is
Everything about this cracks me up.
Hey,
I'm like just diving into I'm just sort of kind of cleaning up my Twitter feed, my Twitter timeline with Star Trek and kind of getting out of the political stuff. And so that now it's like a joy to actually log back into Twitter because it's filled with just Trek.
Yeah, I didn't think anybody was going to come because I'm sort of weird and
No, it's great. It's a great idea. And I haven't really like fully gotten the hang of discourse yet either. So
yeah.
I'm not like entirely sure how that dives.
Yeah.
Are you on that yet?
Well, I formed this club because as a neurodivergent, it's hard for me to find a place to belong. So I wanted to make a place where everybody could belong.
Yay! And I loved your essay.
Well, I actually wrote two of them. That's the sequel. I wrote the first one that was published in February, and it was published on StarTrek.com.
I know. Yeah, no kidding. It's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm plotting to publish more.
Well, yeah, definitely you should.
Yeah, not on Star Trek because they're not accepting publications, but other places.
I keep seeing so much about the NaNoWriMo. I guess I don't really know what it is. I think it's the National Writing Nano.
Oh, the novel thing.
Huh?
You write a novel in the month of November. That's
what
that
is. That what it is? It was on. Do you listen to Strange New Pod?
No, but I've written like over 5 novel manuscripts.
Are you serious?
I am serious. I've been writing since I was 6. I had my first article published when I was 6, and I've written professionally since I was 17. So I've written quite a bit.
No kidding.
I'm almost 34.
I think you're like the mentor for this then. You're the mentor.
I wish.
Well, yeah, so last night on Strange New Pods, they were like one of the sort of talking points was like pitch your like if you were going to write a love story to the franchise, pitch your idea. And like as if any writing project of fandom isn't a love letter. And so they were all kind of going through their ideas, which is really cute. But they kept using the NaNoWriMo as a like some kind of baseline, like, oh, we're gonna write for this. So
yeah. Oh gosh, I don't know. I haven't been published. Like I've only self-published one novel in that many years. So
well, that's the way it works now.
I don't know.
Hi, Jake.
Hi. Sorry,
What's
I don't
going
have.
on?
That's okay. So I don't have a webcam, so sorry. I'll try and figure out something.
Well, it's
Definitely
okay.
great.
Like, you know what? I'll get you the links to pages so you can literally come and join our groups if you're on social medias.
Yeah. So I'm on Facebook. I don't. I have a Twitter too, but I generally don't.
Well, there's our pages, and we have a Discord, so you can hang out there too.
Trek Twitter is the best Twitter.
You don't really pay attention to me because I'm weird, but
Yeah, you seem like you've got a pretty good following. I just realized there's such great sort of like old school, like the chat room based style line by line RPG going on that I passed over before and I never really realized was there, and it's so good.
there's all our links.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we love everyone.
So you're in Mountain Time. Where are you at?
Alberta, Canada.
Cool. I'm in Savannah, Georgia.
I'm a dual citizen, though, thanks to my mother. She was born in Washington.
Jake, where are you at?
I'm in Colorado, so I'm in Mountain Time too.
A little triangle going here across North America. Amir, are you okay? You okay? I'm making macaroni and cheese, okay? Sorry, I'm like, my toddlers in the background, so. So how should we watch? Like, what's a good way?
We can start the discussion now, or we can watch and start the discussion after, however you would like. I record these and I edit them, and then I take our discussions and share them with the world so everybody can know about our love for IDIC and our awareness and our discussions, and all the personal stuff's taken out.
Well, what do you want to do, Jake? Do you want to watch it, and what do you guys want to do?
So that's kind of up to you guys.
I'm so happy that people just showed up. I'm happy.
So I do enjoy watching things with other people, but if we didn't want to do that, just discuss, that's okay too.
Yeah, I don't know how to do teleparty links. Heather is not that. And besides, they made it pretty.
I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, there are no teleparty links. You're on your own for watching.
I was like thinking I'm gonna have my kids like little tablet next to me.
Oh, that's fine. You know what? Children are a blessing. You can have them.
Jerry rig it. This is great too because I'm so like behind on DS9. I was never a serial watcher of it. And I think I blew it off. Like I was so disrespectful of DS9 for the longest time. And only now, I think it was my husband that kind of made me like put little inklings in there that no, it really is, you know, like one of the best written series. And it was the first one to really have this large arc. And I was just like, no, give me the cheap episodic theme planet garbage of original. Like that's my jam. But I've totally been falling in love with DS9 lately. Like I'm only like probably 3 or 4 in, except for the few further. Like I'm watching it chronologically now, and I'm totally sold. Completely.
Yeah,
sold.
I'm sorry, but we will only be watching part 2 today. We already did part 1, but we're only watching part 2 because of and I arranged the title "The Impacts of Forgetting to Care" because that's what part 2 is about.
That sounds great.
We only do 1 episode at a time, so not to overwhelm people.
Oh yeah.
Because it might. I never know who's going to show up to these, and it might overwhelm their brains and make them tired and ruin their days.
So I actually had intended on watching like part 1 about 10 o'clock this morning, but that didn't happen.
Oh, well, and you know, if you want to catch up on previous discussions, I actually edited the previous discussions into things I call the Club IDIC Chronicles. So you can look at the previous discussions too. The link is in the chat.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I'll check that out. I know I've seen both episodes a couple times, so I did my massive Star Trek, or I finished my massive Star Trek rewatch last year, where I watched every single episode of Star Trek ever made. So
Like in order, like in order or in production order? How did you?
So in order. So I'll link what I used.
I did that with Lord of the Rings for 4th of July weekend. Which really made me appreciate the themes of like independence and revolution in Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh, let's have a look at this. This is a new link.
So I more or less went through that whole list in order.
Oh my Lord.
See, yeah. So okay, cool. So it's putting them in more of a chronological order than not a production order.
Hi, baby. It's okay. It's okay. I'm making lunch.
Oh, so this was pre-discovery then.
Yeah.
Well, Discovery's next.
So they have
Ooh.
Discovery in there too.
But do you see how it slides the cage in between Enterprise and Discovery? This is great. I'm gonna have to do that. How long did it take you?
It took me about a year.
Wow.
Best year of your life, right? This is great. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it how they're like pulling out. You see how they also pull out like some of the, you know, throwback crossover episodes. I mean, it's truly chronological. This is so great. Like when Dax goes back and Cisco go back to
This is
the
beautiful.
TOS Enterprise. Excellent. I love this.
Wow. That's really excellent.
You're putting ideas in my head, man.
I mean, eventually we will get to all those, but you know, we're new. We only started last month. Give us time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, members are free to suggest stuff too, and they don't always have to lead discussions. They can always come to me and say, hey, I want to watch this and discuss this. And you don't have to lead anything if you don't want. Just tell me what you want to discuss. You know, it's always about discussing the tough topics because that's always fun to do and nobody else. I'm sure other people are doing it, but it's always fun to do it more.
No, I don't. So I have sometimes issues with conversations on difficult topics, especially like on Facebook and things, because not everybody is mature about it.
Well, here's the thing, you know, this is a safe space, and anybody who can't treat this as a safe space gets dealt with. And that's how it is. So anybody who can't address this as being like treat this as a safe space, then that gets handled. And I hate being a bully, but you know, having been
Not being a bully.
what?
Being a bully at all. So that's not being a bully at all. That's relevant.
Yeah. So if you want to discuss something, you're more than welcome to discuss something, and that's fine.
There was a really neat conversation on Twitter the other day about someone that was like, you know, I have a friend, I'm trying, you know, trying to help this friend get into Trek, and they have pretty severe PTSD, and so they just respond, very poorly to any images of violence or obviously bloodshed, stuff like illness, stuff like that. So she's like, please suggest some episodes where they just do like a cheesy exploration, the really sort of like Starfleet stuff. And it was just such a, number one, it was a neat conversation because like, it really reminded me that that's what the whole point of Starfleet was, is, we always have this like sort of military image of it now, especially lately with Discovery and like all the post-Dominion War kind of stuff. But that it was supposed to be just, a bunch of nerds out there checking out space. And so it was sort of like a brain cleaner to remember all these like nice, pleasant episodes.
Well, here's the thing. One of the co-founders, and I instilled co-founders because of my divergency sometimes makes me go a little crazy. One of the co-founders, a non-binary lesbian named B, they actually hosted the first discussion, and they used Soldiers of the Empire from Deep Space Nine. Because that talks about PTSD, and that's episode 1 of the Club IDIC Chronicles, and you can tell your friend about it.
Yeah, well, it's not my friend. This is just somebody that was on Twitter. But and so yeah, secondarily, like it just reminds you that again, that's what Trek is all about. Like trying to be, trying to include people, and even if it takes sort of a big effort to get all these brains together to think of the appropriate episodes for this other third person to enjoy. Like that's so like nothing. It's like so Starfleet right there.
Yeah.
So, people trying to get together and come up with a solution. Like everything about that is perfect.
Oh, so this episode is actually showing how not so perfect getting together and trying to come up with a solution is, because Cisco, have you seen this?
Yeah.
Because Cisco and Bashir actually muck up the timeline badly in how trying to come up with a solution.
What? Star Trek and time travel? No, never.
Well, you've seen part 1. I'm assuming all of us have seen part 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they basically do something. They actually get in a fight, and basically they end up killing the guy that's had a hand in creating the Starfleet, and so they erase the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And Julian's reaction's like, oh no, what did we do? And then at the very end of the episode, part 1, Cisco's like, I am Gabriel Bell. And Julian's looking at him like, what are you doing, you idiot? You're gonna die.
So, these two-parters, I love them. So, because I watched it when it was originally on, and so I had to wait a week to finish it. It's not like modern days where you can just watch one episode and then turn on the next episode like right after. It's just...
Yeah, except that's what like Lower Decks is doing to all of us again, bringing us back to those days of having to wait.
Right. So and yeah, now we're gonna have to wait until season 3 to figure out what happens. I just remember like seeing like a video from Patrick Stewart talking about like a fan for Best of Both Worlds, and the fan looked at Patrick Stewart and was like, "You ruined our summer," with the to be continued from that. So, but sorry, that was kind of off topic. But.
No, you know what? That's fine. I mean, Lower Decks. Oh, people are going to be talking about Lower Decks for a while. From what I've heard, I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I know what happens. Everybody talks about it, and then you kind of hear things. Like that must have been insane.
Yeah, I try not to say anything.
So what would you like to do? Would you like to talk about part 2 of the episode now, or would you like to watch then have some points?
I could do either. My kids are going a little haywire right now.
Okay,
but
so how about this? How
I'm
about
like, how about you guys do you, and then I'm gonna
how
chime
about
in
we
here and there.
how about we watch the episode now, and that'll give everybody time to get things in order, and then we can come back after it's over, and everybody can govern themselves about if ever anybody has questions, just pop them in the chat. And then we can come back once it's over.
Sounds great. We'll do MST3K style, right?
What?
Live watch. So like MST3K style.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
It was a like 90s TV show. It was the original live stream where the idea was they would play an old movie and you would watch, like these three people were watching it together and making fun of it in real time. Not really real time because it was recorded, but it's I'll send you the link. It's hilarious.
Okay.
It's like a cheesy, cultish kind of thing. Yeah.
I'll just have to trust you. I was only a child in the 90s, so.
Yes. Same.
All right. So
Okay.
yeah, and then we can also discuss the essay. That'll give people time to read it when they're watching, and because the essay's in the chat. And there's poetry as well about the sanctuary districts as well. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, let's go. And I'll see you back. Everybody, does everybody have the thing queued?
So I'm queuing it up now.
All right, so I will see you after. Is everybody ready?
Yep.
All right, everybody's back. Jake, are you here? That was an interesting episode, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh man.
Sorry, I'm still getting used to Zoom.
It's all right.
Still getting what you said. You're still getting used to what?
Zoom.
To the episode?
To Zoom.
Oh, to Zoom. Oh, I thought you said something else. I'm a little shook after that episode.
What made you shook? Let's talk about it.
Well, I had seen it before. And again, this is like I had seen it before, but it was at a time in my life where I was kind of too young to appreciate like the politics, or at least the sort of like outspoken nature of DS9. I mean, not that to say that other ones, other series aren't, but so now as an older person, it's nice to go back to revisit it, and again to really delve in with a respect for DS9 that I didn't have before. And this episode was like perfect start.
Talks about indifference and apathy a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually kind of made made me tear up a little bit at the end. I was just
Yeah.
So I was just trying to figure out why his because so this episode impacts me a little bit just because I know I was homeless for a few months, so it just so I was like so we obviously don't have sanctuary districts, but because I was just thinking about like the different types of people that like gimmies and dims and ghosts and I mean, and you do really kind of meet all kinds of different kinds of people, homeless and things. So like people are on drugs, people have mental health issues. So and then like gimmies, like people who just down on their luck and trying to having a hard time finding work. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, because you watch Bashir and Cisco at the end, and Bashir's like, I don't know how they let it get so bad, and then Cisco is like, I don't know, and you just think, and it's like, so there's homeless people out there right now, and I was like, well, how do we help those people? I mean, could lock them up into like a sanctuary. I'm not sure what good that would do. And it's like, well, I don't really know what the answer was. I kind of like with Cisco.
Yeah, that part also got me so hard, that how do they let it get so bad? And he's referring to the very end of the episode where Bashir kind of crouches down next to a recovering Cisco, and he's like, I have one question about I can't do the accent. One question about the 21st century. How did they let it get so bad? And it just speaks to, like, how old is this episode? Like 20 years now? I mean,
it was in the 90s, I think.
are we going into the 25th of DS? I don't even know anymore. Like,
I don't know.
So it just gets more and more relevant. So was Trek ahead of its time, or is humanity just getting worse and like falling?
Humanity's getting worse.
Yeah, are we just like falling harder on the, like the stakes that Trek has, kind of pointed out for us in the past? So this episode was just, and also super relevant, and I love that Heather picked it for right now because it is fall. And by the way, this episode does take place only in September.
3 years from now.
In September of 3 years from now, September something 2024. I missed the actual date. I don't know. Honestly, if that's what brings like the beginning of the Federation, I'm all here for it.
And this essay, the whole essay, like, it made me think of this essay that I wrote, and I started talking about divergence in it, and it really made me think, like, Julian's a divergent, Garrick's a divergent. What happens though when people aren't as lucky as Garrick and Julian? What happens when those who try to find their place continually struggle to, like the people in the sanctuary districts? They're shunted off into little prisons. Like, that's what the districts are prisons.
Yes. And so do you as a neurodivergent feel that we are improving, and just say the last 2 years? Let's
Absolutely say the last 2
years.
Talking about
okay, really, like talking about Trek going, like the sort of theme of humanity moving towards Trek as a sort of overriding idea amongst
because racism has gotten worse, bigotry has gotten worse, indifference has gotten worse, ableism has gotten worse. Absolutely freaking not.
And so does that make you have more or less faith in a Trek future?
I think we've got a long ways to go, and I think people should be less obsessed with getting into space, and I think many people have said this, and they should be more obsessed with improving the world we have.
That's a good point. I like that.
And how many people have said this, and how many people have ignored it?
Yeah.
Like this Jeff Bezos dude that shot Shatner into space. Why are people obsessed with going into space? They're only going to ruin it.
Well, and literally that is a creepy thing that Shatner said. I mean, I had wonderful feelings about him going into space.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not George Takei. I'm not George Takei saying, and no offense, George is great, Brad is great, but like, don't be obsessed with going into space. Everybody needs to chill. We're only going to ruin space because we can't handle the crap we have here now.
Exactly. Because Shatner literally said, that what part of Bezos's idea is that we're going to shoot pollution into space. And it's like, wait, no, it's a terrible idea. That's just moving goalposts.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What type of pollution are we aiming to shoot into space?
Exactly.
Our physical pollution or our social pollution?
Excellent point. So it's like, if that's the end game sort of for Bezos, if that's Bezos's next step or Blue Origin's next step, I'm not on board. But I did get a little weepy, got very emotional when I saw Shat get a little emotional. I've got to say, I mean, it killed me. I loved every minute of his little homecoming speech. Oh, I was dying. Loved it.
Shatner is amazing. People get on his case all the time, but he's very gracious. He's very formal. But you can't blame him for being shy and reserved at 90 years old. I mean, come on, the man has lived a very full and productive life, and people hate on him all the time. And so you can't blame him for being shy, but he's very amazing. I have met him.
Well, and if you look at this strike that's happening right now with a lot of the Hollywood production workers right now, the IATSE potential strike, which I think as of today might be resolved.
I think they did resolve it. So good.
Yeah. So like, thank goodness they got, Discovery and Lower Decks and everything wrapped up, and that like those people don't have to go through a strike without pay. But the fact that like back then, Shatner and all of them, like the whole original, like they were all getting dumped on too and treated pretty crappily. And they had like, not great lives in between their original production and then their like later success. So I don't blame them for being a little bit bitter or resentful sometimes. Like, that's okay. And,
Yeah.
like I respect their journey. And I don't think that like, oh, just because they're a celebrity, like they have to have this perfect life. Like, you're entitled to your feelings. Like, you're entitled to, it's, you have to work through them, and you have to be, fair and understanding and like making an attempt to, understand yourself, but you're entitled to your feelings.
Yeah,
And
everybody has feelings. Celebrities are people first. They just happen to be on this awesome show or these awesome shows. I've read half their biographies. Like, I understand that they came from basic roots and they had to grow into who they are today.
Yeah. So, but it sort of, kind of back to the vein though about like workers. This episode is just so on point right now because again, we're literally like the day of the potential resolution, which we have not even read up on, about the IATSE strike of production workers in Hollywood, which affects the thing that we love the most. We're talking about all these like labor shortages in the United States because that people are not being respected. And then we're also talking about like growing mental health crisis in the middle of a pandemic on top of that. So that this episode just put all the right points of like how, oh my gosh, does it get worse before it gets better in the Trek future? Like, where are we going?
Yeah. Have you seen Discovery? I won't spoil, but yes, it does get worse. And that's all I need to say because I don't know. I don't want to spoil Discovery.
No. I guess I just mean like in our metaphorical Trek future.
Yes.
In IRL Trek future.
For the safety of not spoiling, I'll go back to the essay. So what happens to those who try to find their place when those who try to find their place continually struggle to? Finding a place to belong is often a battle. And it is a battle that people from every walk of life struggle with every day. More often than not, people who struggle to find their place in the world fall prey to negative emotions and find comfort in them. We shouldn't take comfort in our suffering and sorrows, yet we do it because we feel we are alone. We feel as if nobody cares, and so we retreat to our cold little corner of the universe and suffer silently. We should not be afraid of reaching out to others for help when experiences forced upon us by others threaten our peaceful selves, yet we are. Why? It does not help that indifference and marginalization run rampant through the world like never-ending pandemics, and society reacts to them with passionless apathy or deep hate. We should do what we can to be there for others when they need comfort or overlook quirks or differences. Dr. Julian Bashir's words from Deep Space Nine's Past Tense Part 1 are words we should all think about when we think about how we all have personal battles to fight and need to help one another succeed in enduring them. Causing people to suffer because you hate them is terrible. But causing people to suffer because you have forgotten how to care, that's really hard to understand. Truly, we must not forget to care, even though it may be hard for us to care. And that's straight from the essay. And there's a point. Go ahead. I just had to get it out. There's a point. Now we can go ahead. You can unmute. Sorry.
I really love that essay the first time I heard it, but hearing it in your own voice is really beautiful. And
Oh, well, that's not the whole essay. I read part of it in the
I know,
beginning
but
when I was waiting for people to show up.
it's even more emotional to hear you, you know. But it's yeah. And I mean, I guess there's one thing I've struggled with in terms of apathy, especially lately, like, you know, we're so burned out on I don't know, just it's like disaster burnout. And we're forgetting the longer term battles that, like, you know, the pandemic is temporary, hurricanes are temporary. I live in the South. Hurricanes are temporary, like, you know, you guys are out west, you know, wildfires are temporary, like all those things, they will wreck your life, but like we still have to remember that there's always these long-term traumas that we're really trying to deal with, like people being disabled, racism, you know, like the overarching things that we need to work on. And so we are so exhausted by the temporary challenges, as awful as they are. And when I say temporary, I don't mean they are not important. I mean, you know, the shorter challenges in our life, that it's almost like it's just putting a roadblock, and it's just slowing us down in the progress towards working on the larger issues, that people are wiped out. And why is that? Like, why don't we live in a nice enough society? I don't know, why can't people fill their cups up a little bit and be able to be the allies that they need to be? And instead, and I even find myself doing it, being like, I'm done, I'm maxed out, I can't, you know, I'm actually the president of a Jewish women's rights organization. And I mean, there's months where I'm like, I can't handle another event. I can't do another outreach. I can't do another, and it's sad, but also you have to remember, it's okay to pull back and say, this is all I can do right now.
You know what,
Like,
and that's okay.
It's okay to stop for a minute. It's getting out of that,
important,
that I'm having the trouble with right now. And I see a lot of people around me that are extremely capable, that are feeling the same way. And it's just such a bummer. And so I don't know if that's normal, you know,
it is
in society, like during other turbulent times, or if it's just that, like, really things are really this bad right now, that some of our greatest thinkers and, you know, social movers and change makers are fried.
Setting boundaries is important. I don't know if you read the first essay. I don't know if you read about my upbringing, but I used to be the people pleaser and not give a crap about myself.
Yeah.
And I didn't stop being a people pleaser until my 30s, and took a look at myself and said, I have painted myself into someone I don't recognize, and I need to stop this. And I need to stop being someone who keeps pleasing people to the point where I don't like myself. So I had to put up a boundary saying I can't be someone I don't like anymore.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've learned to say no, and I've learned to say I'm not comfortable.
And like, it's so important to keep your compassion cup kind of full, because if you look back at this episode, every real strategic turning point was solved through compassion.
Mm-hmm.
On both sides. The getting the jewelry back, I'm a real big fan of the portrayal of the thief character, but whatever. Bashir's compassion for the other hostages. I mean, just every real strategic turning point in the story is about compassion, and everywhere it goes wrong is about aggression. Which can be said about most Star Trek episodes, but so it's that they went into this situation that they kind of should know how it went, and they weren't just trying to repeat it. They were trying to do it. They weren't just trying to like live the same role. They were solving it in their own way through compassion. And it still worked, and it probably worked better, actually. I have to dip out for a minute because my daughter is having a meltdown.
That's all right. That's all right.
So you two go.
Anything to add, Jake?
I don't know. I hate to say too much with April out. But yeah, so that was kind of like one of the. I know when I was watching the episode, like she was talking about with Jazia, talking to the I guess thief. I know with like getting the com badge back. And I think there was like another moment that really stood out to me too was I know when Cisco was trying to talk. I don't remember what the guy's name was. The guy with the hat. He was trying to get him to get Webb on, and
Mm-hmm.
so rather than Cisco being like attacking the guy, he like tried to I don't know if reason with is the right term, but like so rather than like attacking him, he kind of got him to do what he wanted without I don't know, I guess attacking him. I guess that was I don't know. That's not.
That's good. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So I thought that was interesting. So those were kind of the moments that kind of really stood out to me. So
It's a very intriguing episode.
mhm.
It's interesting to see how they tried to apply Starfleet peacemaking into a world that was all about using violence to solve problems.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
and I know I was just reflecting on like like I don't know, forgetting to care. I don't know. I know one of the things I try to do with my friends, just like, okay, if you need anything, just let me know. Anything at all, just give me a call. Because I don't know if we can learn how to care about our friends, and maybe we can. That would teach us a little bit more about how to care about others who are having issues. I don't know. Sorry.
For what?
Rambling.
No, this is great. I love all this conversation. Go ahead. Speak your mind.
So that for me is like, well, caring for other people, and then I mean, like you were talking about earlier, taking care of yourself too. You know, I was just I was talking to a girl last night. She's doing like because because she works in a yoga studio, and I guess the owner, he has COVID, and like the owner's wife has COVID, and then like a bunch of other people have COVID. So she's kind of left to keep the keep the studio running, and then she's trying to do some other things, and then she was just exhausted, and I was just like, okay, it's great that you're doing all this other stuff, but remember you need to take care of yourself too and get some rest, because all that stuff is not going to get done if you're exhausted and can't move. So
Exactly right.
Yeah. So are you guys familiar with spoon theory? Are you guys spoonies?
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh, honey, I feel like spoon theory is like Starfleet 101 in the future, man.
Oh,
It's
well.
it's exactly what Jake said, that, some people like, some people have 10 spoons. Some people have 5 spoons. And those spoons are the currency for life. So sometimes it takes one person 2 spoons just to get dressed in the morning. And sometimes it takes another person 2 spoons to go to a big, huge, giant party. And some people gain energy and some people lose energy from these interactions. And so it's just that you have to take care of yourself and you have to like preserve your spoons because it's all you've got. And how, that each person has, I don't even know why they use spoons. And they were trying to avoid like a money sort of metaphor, but the idea that like you have to take care of yourself and what it takes for you to take care of yourself can be completely different from another person as long as you're getting taken care of. And that's, going back to the episode, we have to recognize that in society that like it takes more spoons for other people to be in a whole place and to feel safe, to feel like they can, accomplish what they need or whatever, to like get to the same medial place as anybody else. So at least, we again see, a potential future where if we don't correct that, then we're going to end up in a worse situation.
It's true. If we stopped forgetting to care about one another, maybe, people would get along and the world would be better. But, that's not reality. People do forget to care about one another, and a lot of bad things are said and done, and people are left alone as exiles because they're hard to understand. And they run out of spoons pretty quickly because they get tired of being forgotten.
Exactly. That's a total part of it too. That, if you're someone that's dealing with a chronic illness, like you're negative spoons, like it's so much harder for some people to get through the day.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like we have to be able to respect that, the people in the district, for whatever, obviously there were like overriding issues of poverty and joblessness that they were trying to fix through the federal Jobs Reinstatement Act, which is not different than what we're looking at right now on the slate. If you really think about it, like, are we living in the riots right now? That joblessness right now, it's not, we want to chalk it up to these cheap thoughts that like, oh, they don't want to work, or oh, they are getting handouts, they're gimmies, like they said in the episode. But
yeah,
we have to understand that that's not true. And again, that's where, like, do you feel like Cisco is coming from a point where he knows that he has to solve the situation with compassion to fix it, or just that he just knows the future? Like, how when you guys saw how Cisco approached the detective and said, listen, breakfast in the morning and reinstate the Jobs Act, was he doing that, you thought, because like he thought, okay, we have to solve this with compassion, or just because that's how it worked out before and he had to kind of like sew back together the timeline?
Well, he had spent nights, I don't know how many nights, in the sanctuary district with Julian, and that was one of the problems he saw. There was no freaking breakfast. He fed Julian a slice of bread with, what was that, mustard?
Yeah.
Freaking mustard. I don't think he even ate anything, but Julian was skinnier and younger and would starve, and it was like, okay, I've got to get my junior officer this bread with this mustard on it so he doesn't go hungry. And it's like, okay, I've got to get some people some breakfast if I can, and we'll work on other things too.
Yeah, because we don't entirely know why, like how that situation is resolved. We know a little bit of the past future, or the future past that was that they were trying to correct, but we don't know the whole story. So again, I too want to believe that he was motivated by compassion to solve it. Again, like you said, with the Starfleet peacekeeping skills, and not just because, oh, this was the ultimate outcome and we just have to make the same thing happen. What do you think, Jake?
I don't know. My answer may sound like a little bit of a cop out, but I would like to think both. So, because so saying the hostages die, that's a so that's two things. One, it just I don't know destroys the timeline.
Yeah.
And two, it's a lack of compassion issue. That act of compassion made the world, I guess, better in the future. Whether or not it was Gabriel Bell who did it or Cisco that did it, but applying those, like, I guess, Starfleet principles, I guess, is how they ended up fixing it. It actually kind of made me almost kind of wonder if it's kind of like that time pretzel paradox. Maybe it was because
Yes.
because when you think about DAGs, the reason why the residents of the sanctuary were able to get have their like issues like aired, I guess, is because she was able to get that guy to give them access. But if Dax was never there to give them access, how did they do it?
Yeah, and I like that they kind of left it open a little bit, that we don't really know exactly how the situation was solved in the but turned out as the beginning of a positive outcome the first time around. But obviously they still had to sew it up in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another interesting point too about another have not moment where, I mean, access is currency, really. Access is denied to those that are different, or that's a really good point.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, like, not to get onto the Star Trek time travel deal, but ooh, buddy.
Yeah, I wonder what the conversation was when Cisco got home.
Yeah, I want to say, like, yeah, what was the conversation? Was it like, why would you send another away team into the past? It's like kind of when you're looking at a YouTube video that's like 2 or 3 hours long, and you click on like just the tiniest little smidgen is like 30-minute difference. I feel like Star Trek time travel is it's like a hurricane spaghetti map.
What?
I don't know if you guys are I'm from a hurricane country. So the spaghetti map is where they throw out 100 possible trajectories of a hurricane that could potentially approach you like the week before. And it's anywhere from like Cuba to New York. It's completely useless.
Oh,
that's Star Trek time travel right there. So the idea that Miles was like, oh, of course, like, let's just send an away team and like, let's go back and get them. And they end up in the 20s. It's like the most Star Trek thing ever. It's like, why do they always think like, oh, just follow them? Let's just follow them and end up in exactly the same place, which never happens before in any Starfleet record ever.
It does. What was it called? The City on the Edge of Forever?
Oh, that's good point with Edith.
Yes. Because McCoy goes in to the past. And yes, I did.
Good point.
And the
90%
what was it? Trials and Tribulations in Deep Space Nine.
I have not seen that one yet.
What?
I know. I'm not caught up on all my Tribble episodes.
You know, maybe
Can
I
I just
should make
ask-
that a watch party in December.
Is there a Tribble episode in Enterprise?
No.
That's
Yeah,
impressive.
no.
There's
They
a TOS and Deep Space Nine crossover though.
I mean, I feel like it's a tradition.
So, so Discovery kind of has a Tribble episode. It's a short episode. It's one of the short.
Oh, the short, yeah. Discovery does have a Tribble episode, like not, but yes.
and there's an actual Tribble on Lorca's desk, or in one of the per season episodes.
Oh, really? I gotta find that.
Yep.
Should just have a Tribble party at some point.
My kids are getting Tribbles for Hanukkah like every day.
Oh, I have a farm of them on my shelf, on a bedroom shelf. Nice.
So, so one of the things that kind of bugged me with the, so this is the time travel thing with if you go look at Star Trek or the 2009 Star Trek movie, that ends up
Okay.
creating their time travel creates a parallel universe. So,
Yeah.
so why doesn't it do that all the time? Was there something special
Right?
about that instance of time travel, or what? Or
Like why do they think they can go if we've accepted that in the Kelvin timeline, then why do we think that like there's not like more than one Edith Keeler out there now or whatever, which actually kind of does match up technically to current understanding of I don't know what kind of string theory or whatever, but yes, why are we not working on how do we suddenly switch to how do they let them switch to a parallel universe theory, which then they totally ran with in Discovery. But I guess parallel universes have existed. I mean, because they did exist in TOS too, though.
That was Mirror Universe.
Yeah. I mean, but like, isn't it that, kind of the same idea?
I don't know. Like
We're gonna go
they
time
literally
travel.
merged, like they destroyed Romulus and oops, never mind.
It's like you're creating another parallel universe with these timeline alterations. I don't know. I'm sure the Daystrom threads have covered this so many times, but
I don't know.
it's always that's what we're here for, to like chew on this, right? That's the whole point. But I totally noticed the same thing, Jake, like immediately. Every time, but I love Star Trek though, I will say this, for their sort of commitment to one style of time travel. Even, I mean, they go a little off kilter here and there, but they're fairly consistent about a completely made up thing. And I love it. I'm here for it. I celebrate it. And that's, like they've gone canon about how time travel works. And I love it. Even though we're all completely questioning it.
Oh goodness, you know what we need? We need like a time travel month.
Yes. November would have been great because it's or whenever the spring
Well, I was thinking January.
spring forward. Oh, there you go, January.
Well, because November's my
I'm
birthday
Jewish.
month. So
We actually have a whole entire fake month on our calendar. So
oh well.
we have two. That's our solution to the leap year.
Oh, that's
But yeah,
nice.
it's total time travel and total Tribble month. You could do a Tribble month and a time travel month. You could do there's stuff. You could do a naked time month because that's like almost every series. Did Enterprise do a naked time, like drunk virus episode?
I have no idea.
I
No,
don't remember.
no, they didn't. Only three that I know of was
No.
Naked Time.
Naked time, naked now.
Yep, that was TNG, and then
Lower Decks.
Yep, Lower Decks had one. So
If wishes were horses was Deep Space Nines, I think.
that
Or free salad.
So I think Wishes from Horses was like some like telepathic virus or something. I don't think it was the same thing, but
I don't know, but November is Origins month and things to do with origins because that's my birthday month.
I like that. That's a good idea. Are you Scorpio?
Sagittarius. I don't know if they changed the calendar or not, but my birthday is November 23rd. And
I'm like a Vulcan at heart, but I still die for the zodiac. That's my I'm a sucker for that.
yeah, that's a good idea. Well, I will definitely have to write all this down on my phone that we've got some ideas because February can be triples month because that's the month of love and we should love all the triples. Or if you've not seen that song that I wrote for First Contact Day,
Oh my gosh, no, what? You wrote it?
I made a song and performed it to the tune of Love One Another.
Oh my gosh, okay, I have to check it out. See, like the Trek universe is it's unreal. Just the like that so many content creators can come together in this singular idea, even though it's not a singular idea, it's an entire universe. So it's so great. I love it. And I love, I mean, I really wonder because I have to be honest, like I was fading because I had kids a couple years ago. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So I wasn't really deep into any fandoms. I was just like kind of struggling to get through life and just like, get through the day. And I'm only discovering it because of Lower Decks. And then once I got on Lower Deck, like got back into Lower Decks, I was still on Twitter as a sort of political kind of thing, and I realized, wait a minute, there have to be other people out there. There have to be like people that are into this and like have this unholy, unnatural love of this beautiful thing out there, just like me. And Twitter, I mean, I die for Trek Twitter. So thank goodness it's like introduced me to like so many wonderful, awesome people out there, and that people are like creating art around it every single day it absolutely blows me away. I'm stunned by Trek Twitter every single day. And and Discord and everything else. Don't even get me started on Tumblr. Oh my gosh.
So, yeah,
That's awesome.
I know that some of my interaction with other Star Trek fans is mostly via the Facebook groups, and depending on what group you're in, that can be a positive or negative thing, especially when it has anything to do with any of the new shows.
Yeah.
that gets frustrating. But I know I was a big Trekkie when I was like a teenager, and then for some reason I kind of got out of it after I graduated and left home. Most of my 20s, I didn't really watch Star Trek or have anything to do with it. And then I think I was like 28 or 29, and I decided that I looked at myself as a person, and I'm like, I liked myself better when I was into Star Trek. So, because I kind of had.
Yes.
So.
That is a really good point.
Because, I mean, I drifted far from the path, I guess, and I wanted to get back.
Hey man, we all go a little Cybok every now and then. It's cool.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, that was one of the things that was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to, I guess, be in on this was that I don't really have that much interaction with other Star Trek fans. Is be nice to, I don't know, talk about these things rather than just kind of watch them in my like little silo and that's it.
Well, that's great.
Well,
like anybody's welcome to come to these things as long as they're not disruptive and abusive and all that other stuff, because we are a safe space. So
yeah, and I like like what you said about like we have to kind of address the elephant in the room a little bit, that like people are hating on new Trek and being kind of ridiculous at times. And it has gotten out of hand. I know some of the podcasts have kind of addressed it a little bit, but not a lot, because it's kind of a bummer. But yeah, there's a lot of hate on new Trek, and it's radically inappropriate, because look at how many people it's brought back around again, and how many people are like still
Yeah.
deeply in love with it, and how much it is spurring a new appreciation for old Trek. Like, you're welcome that there are all these like young people, like we're all under what, 50? I mean, that's amazing that we're like, I mean, I can't see Jake's face, but like we're all like the under the general idea that we would have ever watched TOS when it premiered, or even like early syndication. So yeah, you're welcome, everybody, that New Trek is bringing these wonderful people into the fold and like helping them not only be fellow fans, but fellow creating new stories and new novels, like the paperbacks that are out right now, like the new, or not even paper, like, but just like the online publishing, like Heather, you said you've published a bunch. Like, that's so cool that people are
Yes.
still writing about this thing, you know?
It's not all Trek. I've been doing freelancing since I was 17 for different weeklies and things and magazines, and I
Let's
only
everybody out
published a
there,
few
check
Trek
out Heather.
things. But
Do you publish under your own name, or do you publish under a do you publish under Heather?
I do, because it's about taking responsibility for my writing, and I like my name and I own my work. And
Cool.
I also write on Archive of Our Own. I use a pseudonym there just because, I don't know, I would take a lot of bullying, but I also acknowledge my full name and my bio. And people have left some less than kind comments there, but I still write there. And yeah. But you're welcome to read that. I'll leave my username in the.
Oh, awesome. Like, even in my least Trek moments, I would still log on every now and then to Archive of Our Own. Like, that was like the sort of last outpost of Trekdom.
I just made a nickname based on my first, last, and middle name and put some 7s with it, and it makes it all pretty.
There you go.
I'm like Voldemort. I made a pseudonym based on my first, middle, and last name.
But I love that you picked this episode. I think it's so great. I think it's such a great representation of DS9 as a series, and like what, and the characters. And I mean, obviously it comes, so much later. It's one of the later episodes, but it's such a great summary for like what it stood for. And also I read in the, like, when I was getting ready for this conversation, that it was the final episode to premiere or to show before Voyager premiered.
Oh, was it?
I imagine that the production people would have known this and been like, okay, we got to really bring it to keep our viewers, because they're, could potentially get stolen. And I don't know what I'm sure they weren't really trying to be that competitive. They were just trying to create a large network. But right? Yeah. So this is the last episode to premiere before Voyager started. Not necessarily, not chronologically or anything, but just in terms of like actual like show dates. So I think that's like another reason it's such a, maybe they kind of, I don't know, saved it, or they must have kind of known that that was going to happen and been able to present an extremely powerful representation of what they were trying to make. So, little snippet for you there.
You'll snip it for me.
That was the fact for the day.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. I don't know all the little histories of Star Trek, and that's great that some people do.
I didn't either. I just looked it up when I was getting ready for this conversation. I was like, okay, let's do the memory alpha. Let's hit the wiki. Yeah.
Oh wow, that people actually cared enough to prepare for this conversation. That touches my heart.
I was taking notes on a paper towel. People want this. People need this. Like, yes,
they do. Bring your friends next time. I love that.
I know. I have a buddy that would be like, he is an expert. If you're ready for that, I don't know if we're ready for that. I'm barely ready for that.
Well, as long as he follows the rules, I'm
He's
ready
a
for that.
purist. He's a purist, but he has good thought. He has good ideas.
As long as it's not an aggressive purist.
Yeah, he might actually. It's Seth. I'm talking about you. You're gonna watch this recap eventually.
And I'm sorry about the it, but as long as long as he's not an aggressive purist, as long as he's a kind purist. I love purists. Yes, Jake.
Purist in what sense?
Not in a negative sense, just in the way that I guess purist is kind of a bad. Have you guys seen that meme that's been going around lately about like how we all identify in fandoms? Purist is kind of a bad example. He's sort of the factual, the expert, or not even the expert, because he doesn't have a crappy attitude about it. Just, he's just got a great memory. Like he would know, he would have read in one of the production histories, like I forget which one just recently came out, that I don't know, that fact about like, oh well, that episode actually aired right before Voyager was about to premiere. Like he would have been that guy to point that out. I had to look it up. He would have totally known that off the top of his head, because he's just a real lover of this beautiful thing that we call Star Trek. So it comes from a good place. He's not like that guy. He's not the mansplainer kind of people that I was running into last night on Discord. But he's all with a good heart.
Do you know what was missing that I don't know? I've grown used to when I've watched Deep Space Nine's involving Julian.
What's that?
I'm missing the part where Julian and Garrick sit together discussing the events of the day.
Oh,
like the old married couple.
That's right. Garrick is getting, I kind of wonder if it's a lot of attention. Do you feel like Garrick is getting more attention lately with this sort of more inclusive understanding of Star Trek?
And this is what I heard, that Andy Robinson wanted to portray Garrick as a gay character, but that got shut down. Because, I don't know if you've seen the first episode where Garrick appears, but he wanted to try and seduce Bashir.
Yeah, well, I've heard that conversation. Brownie. You want a brownie? Okay. Let's get my daughter a brownie. I have to get
children need snacks. Cute child. I have to get
Ensign Mimi a brownie. Cadet Mimi. And so do you guys think, like, when you see conversations elsewhere, do you feel like Garrick is getting a little more respect lately as a character?
I don't know,
because I was never hip to it in the first place to know.
I don't know.
I was following DS9.
Could you imagine Garrick in that situation with Julian and Cisco being on the ship when the Federation wiped out because of one of Cisco and Julian's stupid decisions? Just picture it. Jake, what do you think,
Jake?
I'm really curious what Garrick would have made of like 21st or Earth in 2024. I don't know if. Do you mean if he was stayed on the ship, or if he had beamed into the?
Well, I mean, I don't know if he would have beamed, because I'm not sure what he would have done there. But what would he have done, being in that situation, learning that Cisco and Julian would have erased everything, including Cardassia? Like, what would he have done?
I'm sure he would have had like some snarky comment or something. I'm not really sure. But I'm sure he would.
I feel like he's seen worse. I feel like he's definitely seen some I think Garrick is a character. I really wish they'd bring him back. I wish. And I love these more recent references to him as like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, because it's relevant. Like, it's so spot on. And I kind of have a feeling if we're going to see characters come around in the future that we're going to see some more appearances by a Garrick style character in Lower Decks going forward.
Oh, but it's not the same.
I don't know, it's not the same at all, but
We need Andy Robinson as Garrick because it's not the same.
Flourishing sort of like his, I think he's getting a boost lately. So I think he's going to make it back, kind of like T-Lin. We're going to see T-Lin. And then, there's another one that like people have been kind of like how they brought Cetacean Ops back. You know, like they're pulling a lot of the stuff. So I feel like
I know
Garrick is the next one. And I can't remember, there's another one that like people have just been. Jake, you get the vibe that I'm saying? Like there was some, even in the Facebook groups, like there's some character that they're kind of almost like begging to bring back. Oh, and maybe to pull, like they want to see, maybe they want to see a future Chapol or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been hearing some whisperings, so like people wanting DePaul to show up in Strange New Worlds, but I'm not sure.
Oh, in Strange New Worlds, that was it. That was totally it. You're hitting the nail on the head.
So, but I'm not sure how keen the actress is on bringing that character back. But
well, wasn't she at Star Trek Day, Jolene?
Yeah, which I mean, like again, goes back to the idea of being respectful of who a person is, and that like we literally ran one of the best actresses in this franchise and best character developers out of the franchise because she got so much garbage.
Oh, you know what? I mean, maybe that's why Sid hasn't gone back to playing Bashir anymore. I don't know. I heard he hated Bashir, but he learned to love Bashir just because of what they did with the character, making him an augment, for crying out loud. But that's what's so special about Bashir. Like, no, I don't agree with augmentation because I'm neurodivergent and it's like curing something that's special. But I liked how Sid portrayed Julian. And if he ever watches this, which I hope to God he does, I like how he portrayed Bashir.
Oh, he did a beautiful job. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I actually never realized like he had that much trouble with portraying the character. Yeah, so it's we have our own faults in being welcoming within this universe and within creating spaces that people can be happy with, even who they're portraying, even for the actors themselves, that they can feel comfortable. Like she was ridiculed for being an attractive woman, for not wanting to just play the hot girl or whatever. I'm really like cheapening this down quite a bit, and got so much uncomfortable, inappropriate, that she was just like, okay, I'm mentally checked out right now. I respect it.
It's like, marginalized people, like, it's sad, like women, disabled people, people of color, we all need to be more inclusive of each other within the Trek franchise. I don't even know if people of color is the right word to say. I don't know all the political correctness and everything. And I apologize, LGBTQ and all that. We don't include each other. We're not as kind to each other. We forget each other. We don't teach each other how to love each other. And that's a terrible thing. Am I making sense?
Totally. And I think that's the point. That's what you're trying to do with this IDIC club, that like to tackle it a little bit. Like there's a point where we have to, and a lot of people are like, that's, I think, kind of where we're at with Star Trek right now, that like, it's not just this cute show that tries hard. It's a movement. Mm-hmm. It is people that are, sorry, I was actually looking up Robert Beltran because I was going to make a parallel to what you just said about people of color. I think you're trying to accomplish something like pretty
about him,
pretty relevant, but like it's the crest of a wave that's already moving. Like Star Trek is already going that way, that like That's the point. You
About
know,
Chakotay, like people, I've heard Native American Star Trek fans saying, where's our representation? Why is Chakotay on there? He's like white and all that. We want representation on Star
He's a
Trek
Mexican.
too.
He is a Mexican American.
Yeah, but Native Americans are screaming for representation on Star Trek too.
Yes.
And they have a
There's
point.
a little bit. There's a little bit in the novelizations, and I feel like it's sort of. Feel like I'm reading. I've been reading a couple books lately, like where there's like very cameo passing mentions of Native American characters, and I feel like it's because they were all written after the Chakotay era.
Yeah.
And so that was like the next new thing, like, oh, let's include Native. It just, and it feels cheap. It feels like, oh, you're trying a little bit.
Yeah, like
So
James
it's nice that
Coley.
New Trek is getting it a little bit better, but also
Like,
James.
Yeah, he did Ensign Running Bear at least. I believe it was James Coley on Phase 2 that had Ensign Running Bear, was it not? I don't know.
Oh, Jake's muted. But yeah, I mean, and mhm.
Oh, sorry, my cat was being very vocal, so I was. I'm not actually familiar with Ensign Running Bear. I'm not sure.
Let me Google him really quick.
And even Robert Beltran's got his own issues as an actor, you know. But the fact that like Trek is.
Oh,
And I mean,
Ensign
Trek is a
Walking Bear,
company.
excuse me. Got his name wrong.
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that either. Sorry.
Well, this is my little cadet right here.
Yeah, but you know what? We are at the crux of needing to do better in overall inclusion. Star Trek needs to do better at that. And, you know, it's great that Michael Burnham is a captain, but, you know, some articles are saying she's the first Black female captain who's ever been in Star Trek canon. And that's just absolutely not true.
No, it's not.
Yeah, unfair.
And
also Nichelle Nichols went to space before William Shatner.
Yeah.
I mean, in real life and in canon, we're getting it wrong.
Nichelle Nichols.
Well, she flew in a test
like,
flight.
what was it? Women in Motion? She literally traveled the country when it was not safe for Black people to travel the country, and she actually helped get people of color into the space program.
Yes.
And she was on a test flight. I say 6 years ago, but I feel like I'm getting it wrong. And it wasn't, you know, it was a test flight. It wasn't like a above the Kármán line, you know, kind of thing. Like, but still, like, we totally blew over the fact that Nichelle Nichols has been on a rocket before William Shatner ever was. Like, I was obsessively watching coverage, and there was so little mention of it. It was really mainstream and in the fan world. Like, it was really unfortunate that she got kind of blown out.
It's just it's crap that people have to try and outdo each other in this space thing. It's cool to go to space. That's it, period. It's cool to go to space. Why does everybody have to outdo each other? How many people are not going to get to go to space in their lifetime? It's just cool to go to space, and it's cool for anybody that gets to go to space. Why does everybody have to outdo each other? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's passionate. I'm divergent. I have an excuse.
It's not, I mean, it is a wonderful thing. Like, there's a lot of, you know, I have like really mixed feelings on it, but in the end, I think it's like a good thing that they did this. I think the Shatner thing turned out well, put it that way.
It turned out well.
Shatner's response was so great, like, that it saved what could have been a pretty cheap, pretty useless, almost back stepping sort of event.
But I don't like how him and George are fighting about it on social media. I mean, come on.
That's what they're gonna do. That's what they're gonna do. It's your two uncles that fight at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, those two have been fighting for years. I don't.
Yeah.
I think I saw like a tweet from Shatner on it, and one of his comments was George is mad about him not getting like 30 seconds about
Oh, I saw
uh,
that.
so yeah, they're stupid fighting for years.
It was awful. I didn't realize they're that bad. I also didn't realize like how active Shatner is on Twitter in terms of like just general sort of navigation of his appearances. So he's maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's a space error. I don't know, but he's been super busy on Twitter lately, like responding to people, retweeting that, or not retweeting, but like replying to them about his appearances. Like even somebody said, "Hey, what's the location? Like, what's the address?" And he freaking responded. Like, this guy doesn't have to do that. You know, he's got. Well, I guess he probably could be his assistant doing it. But it was so nice that he would reach out to a fan like that and be like, "Oh, here's the address to the convention center for which you bought tickets." Because maybe, you know, they were having a hard time getting. Maybe they were just not in a great place, and
You
just
know,
reached out the best way that they knew how. And it was nice, you know.
well, he's very gracious. Like I met him in 2017. I was working the Creation Con because, you know, for some of these, working them is the only way I can afford to go because the tickets are very expensive and I've never been to a Creation Con as a patron. And well, COVID kind of wrecked my chances to do that this last year. And I met him and I said, "It's an honor to meet you." And he said, "The pleasure is mine," very graciously, very formally. I'm sure he was tired. He probably gets very tired of these things, but he's still gracious. And I loved that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've never had the opportunity to meet any of the Star Trek actors or anything. So I don't. I've never been to a convention or anything. So
Oh, have you thought about going to Chicago in April?
um, mm,
It's a decent price.
yeah. I don't know. I might. I don't know if there's something in Denver. I might go. Or if there's like something big in like Chicago or something, I'd be open. I So I don't know about you guys, but I'm still being fairly careful with COVID and
What?
things. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm still being fairly careful with COVID and things. So
Yeah, there's one in Las Vegas in
Yes.
August though.
so
I'm still like not really at a.
There's one in Las Vegas in August. Maybe it'll be better by August. They're having it at Bally's this year. Jake?
yeah. I don't know. It's possible.
Oh,
So it's if I had like people to go with, I might be a little bit more open to going.
hi, Mike.
So I
Eating stories
I'm
though, Jake, it's totally possible at some point you're gonna get your chance. Who do you
Well,
want to meet? Put it that way. Who's your first choice, Jake?
oh goodness.
well,
Come on,
in-
top of your head. Top of your
well,
head. Who's the first person that you would want to meet?
Probably Patrick Stewart, probably.
Oh, I love it. Excellent choice. Okay, let me tell you my Leonard Nimoy story. Hi, Mike.
hi,
Welcome
Mike.
to
Welcome to Club IDIC, where everybody belongs. This is a safe space where everybody has the opportunity to belong. Nobody is unwelcome here. Yeah, I'm
so
sorry not
glad you
many
did this.
people, I'm sorry not many people showed up today.
the More might have been too much. I mean, it might have been too much. Like I think
Yeah.
3 to 5 or 7 is a good number. I mean, if you had 20, it'd be ridiculous.
So
Maybe more like a podcast.
yeah. So yeah, I think this was good. I mean, because otherwise we might have to be a little bit more organized and do the hand raising thing and other stuff, just so people have
Yeah.
an opportunity to speak and things. But and obviously more than just me because I'm shy, so I don't.
Somebody
I
just
really loved your observations though. Like you did such a great job. I really like the way you think about the episodes, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, I really enjoyed both of your observations. It was nice having you both as company.
So, and yeah, I do this again. So.
Yes, we will be having more parties. Yeah, I've invited you both to the groups. Sorry, a little shaken from a little Zoom bomb, but I'm all right.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Is that a thing that happens?
I
I
don't
know
know.
it. I know of it. I've just never seen it.
I don't know. I might have to put a password on the room.
Oh, funny story that happened to my husband's a rabbi. That happened to our Sunday school like not that long ago.
Yeah,
When they were meeting on Zoom. Mhm.
I might have to put a password on the room next time.
Well, I mean,
I might
don't
not,
know.
but the next meeting, as far as I know, is the 26th.
I think I could do that.
Yeah,
what
and
day of
that
the week is
is that's a Tuesday evening, and the episode is The Wire.
Is it? Are we sticking with DS9? What is that?
It's The Wire, Deep Space Nine. The theme is caregivers and caregiver stress.
Oh, okay. You're gonna wreck me emotionally. I love it. I'm here for it. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's an
need it.
anniversary of someone I lost to cancer as well. That's why I picked that
Oh.
day.
Yep. There you go. Good idea. I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm excited to hear your story though.
Oh, it's a deep one. And anybody is welcome to share their stories. Oh, I'm not admitting this person. I don't know them.
Well, this is what Star Trek is for.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're showing up like this late in the game, it's probably not legit. It's cool that we made it this long, without, because like that Twitter post that you said was 1 p.m. Anybody that's logging on now is probably a bit of a troll, I would think. Or I mean, it could be like a random, person that just barely made it in. Like I would be that person. But I would imagine that getting this like influx of people right now is probably pretty weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I invite you all to invite people and from the Star Trek family and from Trek Twitter. And
so Jake, are you in Star Trek wholesome posting or like Star Trek TOS? Like what Facebook groups are you on?
I'm in a few. So I'm in a Discovery, Strange New Worlds, and Picard group. So those are admin by what's that guy's name?
Check it out.
He's one of the Seventh Rule guys.
Because my Star Trek Facebook is like not that great.
So
Ryan or Sirach?
Oh, Ryan. Oh God, Ryan. What's his last name? I don't know.
Ryan T. Husk?
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
So
I'll check it out.
I'm in a few of his groups. So he does a fairly decent job, and I think there's a few cast, or well, not cast, but at least like maybe writers or whatever people.
Okay.
And then I'm also in Star Trek Family. And then I think I'm in a Deep Space Nine group. So, and I know there's like several crew and cast members there that has like Amy Shimmerman. She's Cameron Shimmerman's niece. So that's so those are the main Facebook group, Star Trek Facebook groups I'm in. So, and I actually heard about this on Star Trek Family, I think.
Do you guys want to have a heart attack right now? Because I'm about to give you a heart attack. So like, just get ready for it. My husband is Brent Spiner's cousin.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, really? Wow.
I take it back. My first crush was not Leonard Nimoy. It was Data. Hold on one second, baby. It was not Data. It was Data. And so when I met my husband, they looked, it was like kind of a thing a little bit. I didn't realize it at first, but I was like, oh my God, I'm falling in love with this man. And then we talked about Star Trek and Star Wars and all that. And he goes, on our 20th date, he's like, oh yeah, my cousin's actually Brett Spiner. I'm not gonna say it's why I married him.
Well,
but it helped.
you know what? You should maybe, if you ever want to, you can always invite your cousin-in-law to join us.
I know we don't talk. I wish. And it's a very small family too. Like it's really weird that they, don't like know each other. It's like, but it's very sweet. And I'm sure if we met Brett, he would be wonderful, and like Aunt Shirley or whatever. Actually, I don't even know the relation.
Well, the dude is a freaking germaphobe. And when I met him for a photo op, he put his arm around me.
Oh, he's a germaphobe?
I heard he's a germaphobe. Is he a germaphobe?
He is 100% related to my husband. Yes, that's a fan. That's not a compulsion. It's a family trait. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. That's so sweet. I've heard he's really wonderful. I've heard he's really like bit of a smart ass, but very genuine. What? This is mini Brett Spiner. This is mini. Yeah, you are. Are you mini little Data? Yeah, that's.
So I have a tiny Brett Spiner story. I was posting something on Twitter or something. I don't even remember what it was, but Brett Spiner liked my tweet, and it was like, it made the rest of my night. I was like, wow, that was cool.
That's awesome.
No kidding. That's made your night. Oh my gosh. Like what else would there be? That's so incredible. Oh my gosh. Though, is yoga, I have to ask you, is the yoga instructor a Star Trek fan?
No.
She could be. She sounds like a very nice and compassionate person.
Yes, she is.
Best of luck with that. Godspeed.
Mom, can you have
So should we wrap up? Because you seem very busy, April and Jake. I don't know what you have planned for the rest of the day.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm cleaning my apartment and trying to figure out what my cat was complaining about. Yeah, that's the rest of my day. I'm continue watching. So I've actually cycled back through the original series, and I'm coming back to Next Generation. So on that list site, Gabe. So I watched Undiscovered Country a few days ago, and I'm supposed to watch Encounter at Farpoint here sometime. So kind of hoping.
Wait. Did you just skip over Final Frontier?
Final Frontier sucks.
No, it doesn't. What?
Well, Final.
It kind of does.
It is top 3 of the movie. Top 3.
So
they're all good.
Well,
anyway, that's a whole different conversation. It's a whole different conversation. But did you skip over it?
So this time I did, but I watched it like a month ago because I watched like all the movie. So because I kind of low key restarted just because I think I wanted to go rewatch Discovery because of season 4. So I watched season 1 and 2. And then I'm working my way through Wanderlust novel. That's I don't want to give spoilers, but there's a reason. And then watch season 3 before season 4 starts. But because I kind of low key restarted, I kind of made my way through the movies again, and I skipped over Motion Picture, even though I do like the movie, and I skipped over Final Frontier this time. But I did watch it like a few months ago, so that was. But and then so counterpoint PowerPoint hopefully tonight maybe. I'm kind of want to make that on a weekend night just because it's hour and a half. So, but
Well, that sounds fun. So I guess this will be our goodbye.
okay. Well, I will do this again. So
Yes. Does everybody have
Same.
the links to the groups and everything so you can join when
Yeah.
you have time? Good.
Yeah.
Because I will post the
Um,
schedule and you can meet everybody and hopefully y'all will get along. If you have issues with people, please tell me.
so I know I was trying to get on the Discord, but I'm having issues with the link. I'm not. I think it might be
Oh,
because I'm also.
I
So
haven't totally figured Discord out either. And I think last
don't
night it
worry
might have
about
been
it.
cutting out. Somebody said it might have been
Don't worry about it
because
then.
somebody else was having problems and they said it might have been like intermittent or something. So
Don't worry about it then. The Facebook and the Twitter are fine. Don't worry about the Discord.
Okay. Is there a link on the in the group for on the Discord? Or...
Oh, okay, let me see what the,
So because I'm kind of because I'm like accessing Discord through a browser right now because I'm a computer nerd and I'm actually on Linux right now. I'm not in Windows, so that might be
baller.
but
Well, I was just gonna say that I promise next time I will do some kind of green screen or something because hold on one second. Let me talk to my friends. It's hard to be on the phone, to be on Zoom and not be like walking
there's the
around. And
Discord.
I know it makes me super irritated to watch like other, I know it's like a trigger for me to see other people moving in a space while talking on Zoom. So I promise next time I'll do something
It's fine.
different.
It's fine. It's your environment. That's fine.
No, some people like it's very like I have a hard time watching another person do it because it's very distracting. So I can respect that,
so,
especially there's other people here.
so you're good. You didn't...
It's okay. All right. So yeah, I put a link to the Discord, Jake, in the chat. I hope that works.
Oh, yep, that works. That is good.
There's not much in there yet. Oh my, you're Knox?
Yeah. Huh?
You're Knox?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were Knox.
Knox?
I didn't know
Huh?
you were Knox. Silly boy, you've been hiding from me.
Knox on what? On Knox on
Are you
in a
seriously Knox? I'm so happy to see you.
Are you guys like just meeting for the first time?
I'm confused. Sorry.
I have no idea. You might be. I might have seen you before. I don't know.
Okay.
Are you on Twitter?
I don't know.
Jake, are you on Twitter?
I am not on Twitter.
Oh, then I don't know you. I'm sorry. I thought you were someone I knew.
No, it's okay. You're good. So I go by Knox in some video games, so that's why that popped up that way.
Oh.
So
well, I'll let you guys catch up. I'm gonna dip out. I'll let you guys catch up. But it was super nice to meet both of you. This was awesome. Get your hands off the stove. Okay. This was super nice.
Right. Well, yes.
Guys.
Take care.
And send Mimi right there. Peace out. It's been real. Starfleet.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Yes, I should let you go, right?
So yeah, I was looking at like mutual servers and I was like, yeah, the only looking at you so that's like Club IDIC, that's the only server that
Okay.
and I don't really post as Knox on Twitter, so So, but I use Nox quite a bit in different video games. So,
Oh, okay.
because I know I kind of played it like an evil character in like one of the video games I was in. So, um, so Nox Eterna is what my full name in the video game world. So, Eternal Night, you know. So I would just I don't know, semi troll, but not really. so, so some of those online games, I don't know, I always thought of it like, well, for people to be good guys, there need to be bad guys too. So I'm gonna play a bad guy. So, and I never harassed people or did anything like that.
Okay, I thought I knew you from somewhere. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So, um, so thank you for doing this, and I will do
You're
this
welcome.
again.
You're welcome to come back if you want. I'll post more info in Discord or Twitter.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take care. So, I'll go read your essay, and I'll post any comments I might have. I'll
You
try
can
to.
PM me. You can
Okay.
PM me like I post all over the. You'll see my
Okay.
username in there.
Okay. So, I apologize for not reading the essay in advance.
No, you don't have to. It's just there, and you can add your comments were valuable.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
You're welcome. Have a lovely day. That was a lovely meeting, wasn't it? And that was a lovely discussion, wasn't it? All right. Now to read the rest of the essay. Garrick, Julian, and I actually have a lot in common in that we are very, very quirky people. I, like Julian, often talk too much, and I also ask too many questions about everything, not fully aware of whether or not they might be appropriate. I find fascination with things that others might not. I bore others to tears with random spouts of information concerning things I alone might be passionate about. I get overly passionate about things to the point where it can get mistaken for being pushy or overbearing. And I am overly friendly to the point where it is horribly misinterpreted and leads to horrible social disasters for me. I truly require a maddening amount of patience from others more often than not. Like Garrick, I work to persevere when others tell me I should just give in to the low expectations others have of me. Life fascinates me, yet it also frustrates me because I feel like I am on an island constantly trying to build bridges of understanding between me and others. But I am the only one who wants to put in the work. Because of my struggles, many have seen and treated me as a lost cause, and that in turn has made me work very hard at treating people with dignity, respect, and love. I truly give Captain Sisko high praise for being the kind of captain who didn't let Julian's divergency affect the high opinion he had of him as a person or an officer. Captain Sisko loved and cared for Julian just as he cared for all the rest of his crew. When Garrick offered his talents to help Starfleet in the war against the Dominion, Sisko ignored the opinions of others and gave Garrick the chance to prove himself, a choice he ultimately didn't regret making. When Julian was exposed as an augment, it would have been all too easy for Sisko to simply throw him to the wolves and walk away with little thought as to what would happen to him. But he chose to stand by Julian instead. Sisko's confidence in Julian prompted Julian to accept what he was and give his best in all that he did, even though he knew not everyone agreed with what he was. Sisko didn't allow the opinions of others to stop him from helping Julian and Garrick reach their potential. He ignored rumor in favor of seeing them as individuals to be loved and not as problems to be solved. Sadly, Julian and Garrick often nitpicked at themselves far more than decent individuals should, simply because others in their personal circles had done it to them enough and they weren't strong enough to love themselves as they were. It's not like I'm innocent of such a thing either, unfortunately. I too spent and still spend too many years in emotionally dark places simply because I just accepted that my existence was more of a burden than a blessing to those around me and to the world. Things are a lot better now, thankfully. But I remember those harder days simply so that I never return to those dark times should life ever get difficult again. Regardless of what labels people have tried to slap on me over the years, I am simply a person who struggles with something beyond their control. I'm a person with hopes, dreams, fears, and rights. I continually work very hard at learning to stand on my own 2 feet because it is my right to do so. As I grow and learn how to better advocate for myself in situations, I share that I am a person with a disability and hopes that it might help foster understanding. I also share about how eager I am to belong, but not everyone believes that someone like me deserves to belong. And I often blame myself for that when I shouldn't. How others see me is not my responsibility. My responsibility is to thrive as I am. Perhaps my obsession with wanting to belong can be likened to Julian's obsession with holodeck fantasies. He, like myself, works to find and have that space where he could feel safe and free to be authentic without fear of making anyone uncomfortable. I am still very much like Jules at times in a social sense, but I am also Julian in that I am an intellect and a deeply creative thinker. Those who can look beyond the quirks and see the beauty will certainly not regret investing patience and love into me. That being said, I always work to make things right when I have the Jules moments and genuinely believe that my efforts have meaning. Unfortunately, there are those out there who refuse to believe that I am truly not capable of progress no matter how hard I try. Back in February 2021, I had a personal essay published on StarTrek.com titled, IDIC includes me, and that's why Star Trek matters. In that essay, I shared that I have social disabilities and that I struggled to find my place from quite early on in my life. I am truly a marginalized person who is very often forgotten about, purposely shunned, or even outright mocked, because it is easier for most to do so than to go outside their comfort zones and care about me. I want to be loved as I am, but it is just too hard for many to actually do it. Like Julian and Garrick, I continually seek acceptance and belonging, but I don't often find it because people often find it hard to care about what they can't easily understand. Hence, I am a social exile who often stands alone. When I get socially exiled, I struggle with how to cope, because being socially exiled is basically being thrown away like garbage and being seen as unworthy of being loved as I am, or unworthy as thriving as I am. I admit I get too attached to people. I try not to be clingy, but social kindnesses are truly a rarity in my life. And so I struggle with handling them properly. Others, however, think I'm just being clingy and annoying and respond quite horribly towards me for my ignorant behavior instead of just being kind. I'm sure the way others react to me is much like how others on Deep Space Nine sometimes reacted towards Julian when it came to socializing. I don't mean to be how I am, but I get cut off socially more often than not, and it hurts. It feels similar to how Julian felt when he first found out he was an augment at the tender age of 15, or how Garrick felt when he was first exiled from Cardassia. I feel lost, alone, directionless, and wonder how I will pick up the pieces of my shattered hopes. I truly wish people had more compassion on me, but I cannot control others' responses. Examining Julian and Garrick and reflecting on my life experiences has and is helping me to learn to appreciate and wholeheartedly accept who I am as a person. There was a time where I was so desperate for social acceptance that I was always trying to pretend to be what I wasn't. And it was very uncomfortable for me. Until he was exposed as an augment. Julian was very much the same way, and once he was exposed, he simply accepted his circumstance. I've come to the point where I can embrace my true self. I continually learn from my experiences and embrace what I learn as I move forward in my life. When I fail socially, I retreat into myself for a while before I gather the courage to try again in another social setting. But I do try again, because I am never one to give up on myself. I also always grant forgiveness to they who show vitriol towards my divergent self and cause me harm, as it allows me to heal, even if others don't care to acknowledge the damage they've done when and how they exile me. I cannot control how people respond to how I am or whether or not they exile me from their circle. But I can move forward with a quiet grace and look forward with faith in a better tomorrow. That's the personal essay. And I've written a couple of poems as well, and I'll read them to end off. It's a wonderful episode. Far beyond the stars is where IDIC resides. Far beyond the stars is where I want to go when COVID and the rest of the toxic pandemics crippling humanity someday disappear. 'Tis better to be far from the earth and her many woes, to be the dreamer, and the dream is within our power if we choose to grow. The world is weighed down by grief and pain, extensively weathered by indifference, bigotry, and emotional strain. Everyone is poor, suffering, and sick unto the point of death. Countries and friends are at war and left without a moment of breath. Every once thriving city is now a sanctuary district full of chaos. First contact is merely years away, but will we even make it there? IDIC is only a success on paper. Love seems just a baseless theory. All simply want to hate and use their weapons of war to ease their wild fury. Tribbles are not the biggest trouble we have to face today. The burn has come and gone many times over, and we are the triggers. We all drown in agony together every day, yet we do not come together. Unity and peace are so simple to achieve, yet they both seem so far away. Why do we dare to dream for a better world? We cannot care for the one we have now, nor do we care to prepare for tomorrow. Our inability to love one another as we are is destroying us day by day. Fear of one another and diversity will cripple any chance we have of a future. Far beyond the stars is where IDIC resides, and we cannot reach it, nor can we see it there. It is a haven where we should want to travel, but we limit our own aspirations by choice. We do not have all the time in the world to live in our small comfort zones. To jump to a higher plane takes faith, but faith of the heart means a future for all. And the final poem is called Indifference Darkens the Universe. The stars grow dark, the air runs cold. We all grow horribly and sadly old. Hate grows strong and mocks that song that IDIC includes all beings, even those like me with broken brains. The hands go up, the darts go out. Bigotry and hate are the shout outs. All who stray are unwelcome to play. The world lacks love for the weird today. Why do we fear what cannot be seen? Our lack of love makes all unclean. The unwanted yearn for belonging, but are left lost. The safe forget to care because they cannot be bothered to pay the cost. Remembering to love one another is free. It only takes time. And yet humanity stays broken and indifference remains painfully high. All right, so that is this meeting. And I hope you've all grown to understand the impacts of forgetting to care. And this is Captain Heather signing off. The essay and the poems can be found in the fall 2021 issue of Star Trek Quarterly. And the titles of those things again are Star Trek teaches that we must not forget to care. Far beyond the stars is where IDIC resides, and indifference darkens the universe. Thank you all for joining me and Club IDIC today. I love you all. Remember to care.